Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, allowance is made for fair use for purposes like criticism, comment, and education. One video on this channel is not ours. It's used for educational and commentary purposes with credit to the original creator. If you are the copyright owner and want it removed, please contact us.
Good morning, everyone. I am Helen Bagay, and I'm here with my groupmates to explain how contextualization and localization enhance our education system. These approaches make learning more relevant by connecting lessons to student culture, environment, and real-life situation. First, let's define these terms and discuss their legal basis. Contextualization. This means helping students understand the lessons better by connecting what they learn to real-life situation. For example, buying snacks at the canteen. Alam na agad nung bata kung ano yung matitira niyang barya kasi natutunan niya sa paaralan nila ang math. Alam niya na yung subtraction and addition. And the legal basis of this is it Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013. This means kailangan iakma sa mga karanasan ng mga estudyante at kailangan konektado ang kanilang mga aralin sa kanilang mga paligid. Now, let's move on to localization. This means adjusting lessons to include the things from the local area. For example, the subject arts. Students could learn to create crafts using materials commonly found at their area. Like for example, the bamboo. Gagawa sila ng maybe alkansya, pencil holder, and etc. And the legal basis of this is 1987 Philippine Constitution support this idea by highlighting the importance of education that fits the local culture and needs.
Hi everyone! I am Barikwater Joliet reporting for the Principles of Integration. So sa Principles po of Integration, may tatlo po siyang principles. Una, ang relevance. Pangalawa, ang flexibility. And pangatlo, ang inclusivity. So ano nga ba ang mga yon? Halina't samahan niyo ko para i-discuss kung ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng una, relevance. Ito po yung lesson should be meaningful to students' lives. For example, in a K-12 social studies class, a teacher could focus on local heroes or historical events like community leaders to teach national history, making students feel closer to them. Naman, ang flexibility. Teachers need to adapt the curriculum to suit local issues. For instance, a science teacher could include local environmental concerns like water quality in nearby rivers. By collecting water samples, students learn about pollution while addressing relevant community. Inclusivity. It is important for students from different backgrounds to feel represented in language arts. For example, using local folklore for reading assignments allows students to see their culture in their studies.
Hello, my name is Wanalyn P. Joseph, and I will be reporting the model of integration. First one is curriculum adaptation. This involves adjusting lessons to fit local culture, changing lessons to include things from students or culture and daily life to make learning easier. For example, teaching math with examples like counting fish or measuring rice, using things familiar in the student's community. And the second one is localized instructional materials, using local objects, stories, and examples in teaching materials to better understanding and engagement. Using local objects and examples in lessons so students can understand better by seeing familiar things. For example, using local fruits to teach addition or subtraction, so students can easily understand with things they know. One is community-based learning. Engaging with the community makes learning meaningful. So learning outside the classroom, like visiting local places or meeting community members, to make learning more real and connected to daily life. For example, visiting a local farm to learn about plants and animals directly from a farmer's knowledge integration. This promotes cultural pride by incorporating traditional knowledge, including traditional knowledge and stories in lesson to help students feel proud of their culture. For example, sharing traditional stories to teach history or values, helping students connect with their culture. One is experiential learning, facilitating learning through real-world experiences, enabling students to apply theoretical knowledge in practice. Learning by doing hands-on activities so students can see how lessons work in real life. For example, taking students outside to clean up a park, teaching them about pollution or being in the other models of integration. The first one is socio-scientific issues model, in short SSI. Integrate scientific concepts with real-world socio-scientific issues, promoting critical thinking and decision-making skills. For example, discussing climate change and having students think about ways to reduce pollution in their country. The second one is context-based learning framework, in short CBL. Links scientific content to real-life context, emphasizing relevance and activating pure knowledge through relatable investigations. For example, teaching about the chemistry of cooking by having students observe how different ingredients change when heated. The third one is teaching cycle of contextualization. Involves 3 stages. So the first one is contextualization, decontextualization, and the recontextualization. So for example, studying plants by first learning about them in the classroom. That is contextualization. So visiting a garden, decontextualization. And finally, discussing what was learned back in class. That is recontextualization. Okay. Fourth one, interdisciplinary case-based learning uses historical or contemporary cases to explain complex scientific concepts across disciplines, promoting contextualization understanding. For example, using a case study on a recent natural disaster to teach about earth science, geography, and emergency management altogether. And the last one is inquiry-based learning in context. So it encourages student-led investigations in real-world context, fostering exploration and critical thinking. So for example, letting students choose a local problem like waste management to investigate and come up with their own solutions.
Now, let's discuss about the teaching strategies. Authentic science practices, involving students in real-life science activities, or, for example, not just a student reading science books, students get to experience it. For example, nagko-collect yung mga bata or yung mga estudyante ng mga iba't ibang soil samples from different areas. Dito, malalaman nila or ititest nila kung ano yung nutrients, moisture, and the pH level. Dito, malalaman nila kung bakit mabilis tumubo yung plants or bakit hindi tumutubo yung mga halaman. Number 2, culturally responsive science or CRS. This means adjusting science lessons to include things that are important to student culture and background. For example, aalamin ng bata kung ano yung mga gamit ng mga iba't ibang halaman, like lagundi. They will explore the science behind these traditional remedies. Number 3, the OCC or out of classroom. Taking students outside the classroom for field trip and outdoor activities that help them experience in real life. For example, students observe the insects or animal natural habitat where they can learn about biodiversity and ecosystem. Number 4, the SSI or the social scientific inquiry, discussing scientific topics that are important to society like climate change and seeing how they affect students' communities. Like for example, students explore the pollution of car or factories that affects the air quality. And then, aalamin nila why this causes health problems like asthma. Now, let's move on to the last one, which is the context-based curriculum. Designing a curriculum with science in real-life situation means teaching students science by connecting it to the thing they already know and experience. Like for example, student teaching their communities how would they recycle a trash.
Moving on to our challenges and solutions. Finally, implementing these concepts comes with challenges, but also there are solutions. Number 1, complexity in real life context, which means that real issues can be difficult to simplify. Therefore, teachers should join professional development programs that offer support and guidance. Number 2, assessment alignment. Standardized tests often overlook contextualized learning. The possible solutions are assessment policies and reform to recognize real-world knowledge of application. Number 3, resource limitation. Many schools lack materials for contextualized lessons. They should establish networks for sharing resources among schools that can help. Number 4, teachers' belief. Some teachers may resist to new approaches. The solution for that is community workshops that encourage teachers to reflect on their own beliefs and how they impact their teaching. And lastly, time management. Making contextualized lessons takes time. Therefore, using an integrated curriculum can make it easier to combine subjects and saving time while enriching lessons.
I am Danny Kaloy and now we are going to discuss the methods of teaching. So the first method is inquiry-based learning. So inquiry-based learning is where students create questions and research to find answer, promoting curiosity and engagement. So ito is yung the students will be encouraged to take charge of their learning by asking their questions and discovering their answers. So an example of this is students might investigate pollution in a nearby river, allowing them to engage with both scientific content and real-world. The second method is project-based learning, or in short, PBL. So in project-based learning, students work on long-term projects that solve real-world problems, enhancing critical thinking and collaboration. So dito, it empowers students to address real-life challenges. A project such as planning a community garden, allowing students to apply academic knowledge in a meaningful way. So the third method is role-playing scenarios. Students assume roles in real-life situations, applying knowledge practically. So role-playing scenarios engage students by placing them in simulated real-life situations. They practice what they have learned by becoming professionals, like scientists addressing a disease outbreak. So an example of this is in a science class, students role-play as scientists researching these diseases outbreaks, applying knowledge on disease transmission. The fourth method is field trips and out-of-class experiences. This is a real-world exposure. Learning enhances engagement and relevance. So, field trips provide immersive learning experiences that connect classroom content to the real world. For example, a biology class visiting a wetland can observe biodiversity. The fifth method is flipped classroom model. So here, students review materials at home and engage in interactive activities during class. So the flipped classroom model allows a student to prepare outside of class, freeing up class time for deeper exploration. For example, in a chemistry class, students might watch lectures at home and spend class time conducting experiment. So, parang outside the classroom is mag-study sila about the content ng lesson nila, and pag nasa classroom na sila, they will participate in the activities. Interactive technology tools. So, digital tools like Google Docs, QR codes, and etc. facilitate collaboration and engagement. So, technology tools enhance learning through interactivity. Students can collaborate online, use QR codes for research, and create digital presentations, making learning dynamic and accessible. For example, students create digital presentation with QR codes linking to research sources. Isang halimbawa nito is as students using apps.
A pleasant day to you all. My name is Benguet Juliet and I will be discussing the innovation for the BEd curriculum. Integrate authentic learning experiences. So in here, we use real-world scenarios to make learning relevant. Example, incorporating real-world examples in the curriculum like local environmental case studies makes learning relatable and meaningful. Sa number 2 naman, develop context-based curriculum. So dito, it embeds concepts in social or environmental context. Example, context-based curriculum ties academic content to local context. By designing lessons around cultural practices, students learn within the framework of their community. And number 3, Culturally responsive pedagogy. So in here, it adapts teaching to reflect students' cultural backgrounds. Example, use local folklore or indigenous knowledge in lessons. So in here, cultural responsive pedagogy acknowledges students' backgrounds, enhancing understanding by connecting academics to their culture. One would be the promote socio-scientific inquiry. So it discusses social issues that require scientific reasoning. Example, facilitate debates on topics like climate change affecting the local community. And social scientific inquiry fosters critical thinking by encouraging students to examine social issues from the scientific perspective.
Implementing out-of-classroom experiences. These ideas comes with field trips, hands-on activities that connect classroom learning with real-life situation. For example, visiting local farms or factories for applied sciences. This idea can provide students knowledge, experiences into practical application. Number 6. Leverage technology for contextual learning. This uses digital tools to connect content with real-life applications. For example, virtual field trips and collaborative platforms. This technology offers innovative ways to contextualize learning, which allows students to explore the environment that they don't have access.
Another one is foster collaborative learning environment. So, group work and peer interaction foster learning from diverse perspectives. Collaborative learning environments encourage students to share their ideas and address community needs together, enhancing both teamwork and contextual understanding. An example of this is when students work on community-based projects to promote teamwork.
Thank you for watching!
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.